Well, I couldn't locate the exact leak. I just know it's one of the heater core lines up here somewhere. All right, so yeah, here's the belt they gave me. 98 and an eighth. 6 rib, single-sided V-belt. Well, here's the final product. Got the floor mat in place. As you can see, there's that rip there. So it's kind of out of place here just a little bit. Got my box of fluids and spare parts. Got my backpack in here. Seats are up. We open up the store right here. I got the rubber mats and the regular or OEM carpet mats. And we got that headliner glued up there, so not too bad. A little bit of a bubble right there, but that's no big deal to me right now. But it's all cleaned up. I didn't forget the battery hold down. Stop yelling. It's all in there perfect now. I just haven't had time to do it. It was sitting in a pile of bolts. So, boom. Battery hold down properly. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe this motor is locked up. So I disconnect the linkage after I marked it with a paint pen. The linkage moves free. I tighten the bolt back down. You would think if I tighten this and spun it, it would spin the motor, in theory, but it doesn't. That thing is stuck there good. This is a remanufactured one, if you remember. But I tried tapping on it with a hammer and all that jazz, and it doesn't seem to work. So, I have to start seeing if I can find one quick. So we did figure out what happened. At some point, probably while this was sitting, that these drains got clogged and this filled with water. This motor got full of water and seized up. I was able to get it apart. I cleaned it up as best I could and I greased it, and I spun it back and forth, made sure it was all the gears were greased, and then the two bearings, or what do you want to call it, ball joints here and on the bottom there. I think I got it lined up okay, got it rewired, plugged back in. Now, moment of truth here. I said plug back in, I didn't plug it back in. Gotta plug it back in. Moment of truth here. See if it works. Nothing. And I don't know if those contacts are very good inside of it either. But it did spin before. It spun when I had it out. Damn it. That fucking sucks. Well, I'm going to mess around with it a little more. But we might be at a lost cause here. Well, time to get that guy out. We have a brand new unit here. So we're going to put it in there. I just gotta get the 3 bolts out, loosen up the wire harness again, work it through there, get it unplugged and out, and that should be it. And just so, the way I do this is you gotta get this loosened up, pull the grommet, and then get yourself slack in the cable, and then I've got these 2 cross braces off, and then I had this unbolted here. Well, no, I don't even think you need that unbolted, but yes you do. Yeah, because you need to be able to move that around so you can wiggle the motor out. So you unbolt all of these bushings and stuff. And then it should give you enough play to get it snaked out of there. Well, new motor's in. I wrote the date on it, and I got it plugged in. So let's just see if it spins first. Well, it should be going, in theory. And it's not, so what the hell? And I swear we looked at the fuses. What am I missing? What am I missing? I just sprayed washer fluid everywhere, but besides that, what am I missing? It is going. When I spray it, it works. See that? Something wrong with that switch too? Am I getting hit with like a triple whammy here? See that? I'm wiggling the switch back and forth. It's like intermittent ain't working, but on isn't working either. That should be on right? Definitely working. But only when you do the spray, which I'm getting everywhere right now. But what the heck? So it definitely works. Interesting. What could be wrong there? That would be like the relay, wouldn't it? But I thought we tested that. Okay, so what I've learned, when you turn it off, that motor is spinning right now. When you turn it to here, it's off, does nothing. Turn it to here, spray it, and it moves. But when you spray it, the speed is different. See that? So it's like the speed control is right, because that's high speed. This is regular speed. So that's working, but it's like off and on are wrong. So this switch was working with it off. This wasn't, but it's still acting the same. And then when this is unplugged, it runs full time. Is that correct? I don't think so. So something is not right here, and I don't know what. I hope it's not a BCM issue, because it could be. Got to do some research here. So I don't know what to say. Right now I got it on high. Go to low. It's on. You can hear it. You might not be able. Now it's off. On. Off. On. Off. Off. What if we go? And then if you turn the key off, it shuts off, but please help me understand what is happening. So Green Bean, my 97, other 97, I guess, Shorty 97, has a weird wiper issue, but it's not like this. Like, the intermittent doesn't work right, and it doesn't work right no matter what switch you use. I was always under the impression that that was just the body control module not working right. But this is different. I swapped the relays around. The relays all work when you put them in the horn or whatever. They don't stick on, so it's not like they're stuck on, because otherwise you'd hear the horn screaming. And when I wiggle the high-low relay, then it shuts this off until I turn it off and back on. So I don't know what the hell. See, now if we go back to this other switch, put it down. Right now it's stuck on right now. I have a feeling it should not be stuck on right now. If you want my opinion. which makes me think that off is on right now. So something's not right. I don't think this should be working when it's unplugged. So this one's on full blast now. So this one, now this switch does something completely different, which is even weirder. See, now this switch doesn't even respond at all. Except it works when I do that. Oh, now highs are on. Oh, right, because it's not running. I bet you if I turn that on, the highs will stay on. This one doesn't run. It's off. It doesn't do anything. I'm gonna have to go find the wiring diagram for this crap now. Oh, why? I gotta look. So here, I got one more idea that I could think of. Shock myself. Is there any way that could be backwards? Like, there's no way I plug that in backwards. This one you can't get wrong, but is there any way to get that one wrong? It's a thought anyway. It's just the 3 screws I gotta undo, that's it. So I'm gonna look at it, I'll try it. So probably a little sketchy to do that without tracing the wires, but I was like, what am I gonna do? That is the high-low. That switch that can go both ways, that's the high-low. And really it can only go the one way just because of how it fits in there. Because I can't get it to go back in. But that's the high-low. So right now I got it on off, and as you can see it's running high instead of low. So I'm pretty confident it's not a motor issue itself, because it looks like it has everything. So it allows it to park and everything, because if you turn it on and it's stuck on and you go to a spot where it's off, it takes a second before it shuts off. So that all works. So the park function in the motor and everything works. So something's wrong with whatever what do you want to call it, whatever circuit that is on is causing power to be sent when it's on and not off. And anyway, what I'm saying is I want to bolt that whole motor up, align the wipers and stuff, and then worry about this mess later, because at least I can do this if I need wipers. you know what I'm saying? So at least they'll do something. Okay, so I think I got it parked right, and I remember this now because I had to do a wiper motor in Green Bean, my 97 Shorty. The OEM one's parked to where this guy is pointed out like this and down here. Both of these aftermarket ones, they parked right there. And I remember not thinking, I couldn't get a wrench in there when I did it, so I offset it, and it was never set right on Green Bean. I got this one set perfect. Here, and I'm gonna show you proof of concept how this parking works. So see how the motor's off right now? I'm gonna apply pressure to it. I'm gonna be careful here and turn the motor. See how it moves? It's like, oh, I'm out, I gotta get to park. And it goes back to the same spot every time. Yeah? And now watch this right here. It should go clockwise, like up, and then it should come back down. See, that goes up, and then it comes down and parks. And you notice how it's immediately up, and then there's no up movement when it comes back to park. If you get it off center, it'll come down, and then it'll want to go back up. Or it will start at park and go down and back up. Right now I got it set perfect. If I can trigger it, see that? So right now we can put the blades here and they will go up and back down properly. Yeah, that's twice. That happened on the 97. I remember that because I could never get it, you know, because I couldn't get a ratchet on here. It's like, oh, there's no way I can get a wrench in here. I got a wrench in there. Right here, and I was able to quarter turn it just a little bit. So, that's park. The wiper motor works, the park function works, all that works. It's somewhere between the switch and here. And hopefully it's not the BCM. If it is, I really don't care. At the very least, we know that if we need the wipers, we turn them to off to run them. So right now, see that? They're running. If we need wipers. And if we need them on high, we go on or off and then all the way to high. And see, that's not right either. That high is like, it's the second from the high. This option is what's running right now, not the full on. So, because it's intermittent, see that? Yeah. And somewhere in here is off for now. Yeah, I gotta do some more research into this. Almost looks like it's missing that switch right there. See that? It's just out of orientation, maybe. I don't know. Something's not right. I'm going to tell you that right now. But the way it is right now, yeah, and the wipers went back to home. Yeah. I can at least bolt all that in and be done with this, have the wipers on, and have something that will work if I need it to. And then we can troubleshoot the rest after that point. But let's get this on, then I can call it a night. Whatever, this is, yeah, something else, I'll tell you that. Because here, you know what? I'll bring you over to Green Bean. I'll show you what Green Bean does, because it's not quite the same, but it's similar. Alright, poor Green Bean still on the trailer. Motor's still knocky. We're not going to run it, but we will get up here. If I can get up without falling and breaking my leg, I made it. We're good. And we will turn on. Now, see, wipers are off. See? Here, let's do that. See how that? See, full speed's kind of wacky. See how that doesn't work right? Now, off is, but see how they act? They're, so it goes down and then back up because I have it misaligned. But that intermittent works. Sometimes you can get one of these to work if you play with it. So I guess it is sort of the same, except the off is broke on mine. There it goes. See how I wiggle it? Well, see that? So now it's doing the same thing, essentially. I was told that this was a BCM issue, because BCM controls the intermittent wipers. See, and now it's slow. Sometimes you play with it, now you can get the intermittents to work now that you've gone all the way up, and now the intermittents are working. So, and I kind of got away with that, so I might almost be able to live with that. Okay, battery's still good. Just wanted to make sure. Those wipers were getting kind of slow. But yeah, so Green Bean has the same issue, sorta-ish. If I could figure out how to get that one to not stay running when it's off, I could probably live with it. Or if I could get it to this state. But we'll see how that goes. Well, got it in. Let's see if they work. Key on. Okay. And now they're not working when it's off. Now they don't work at all. What do we have unplugged? Oh, and now they work. And that's on off. Hey, they're aligned dead on though. Look at that. Well, that seems right for fast. Oh, now that don't work. Yeah, we're back to working on off again, so that's interesting. But they're lined perfectly. There we go. Well, that's what we're gonna have to live with for now. I got them aligned right though, so look at it that way. So I'll get this bolted back in, put this all back on, and we're gonna call it a day for now, and then eggplant is operational once again. Okay, so this switch right here is from my 98 string bean. When I unplugged this with the wipers running, or when I unplugged it, I guess it doesn't matter. When I unplugged this from that van, the wipers did not turn on automatically, or like, you know, stay on. Yeah, so this switch is acting the same. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna test that over on string bean, and we'll see if that has the same behavior. So we know it's not a switch. I just wanted to make sure. Like, I thought that or this one I had on the shelf, I thought that was good because this is the original switch. I thought that was good. I know this is good, and as you can see it, they're doing weird things. So what I'm probably gonna do, so I'm gonna mark these so I know what's what, and I'm gonna bring all three of them over there, and we'll plug all three of them in, and we'll just confirm that all the switches do work. So I'll mark this. Sorry, mark them with a white pen here, and we'll go over there and test them. Yeah, this is the original switch out of the 97 eggplant. This switch is stuck on, so there is something in fact wrong with this switch. Now the wiper's parked, I unplugged it. This is no good, this is stuck on. Now if we put the original switch back into green bean, or I can't keep the names straight. This is string bean, 98. As you can see, spray works, it's off, stays off. Intermittents work. Yep, see? That all works. So we've confirmed, oh, and I hit the blinker, my bad. So we confirmed that the switch is good. I'm trying to get it back on. I want to test that 97 switch one more time just to make sure. But I know it's good. As you can see, something's wrong with the van because the wipers come on when I unplug the switch. So here's the 97. Make sure it is, because I wrote on it. Where did I write on it? Yeah. So that all works. Speed works. Intermittent works. Slower intermittent, does that work? Yep. And off works most importantly. So this switch is good. That switch is good. That third switch is no good. It's stuck on. So we'll bring that back over. Just for shits and giggles, one more time, we will see this. It's off. It's set to off. If we plug this in, it's going to come on because this switch is no good for some reason. Now, why? I don't understand. Yeah, see that? So we'll mark that switch is no good. Put this back in, button up string bean here, back to how she was. She's done us some good for testing. Let it warm up too, it's good. Yeah, so isn't that something? Well, back to the drawing board, I guess. Kinda, I think. Oh, come on, go in there. See, now this won't sit right, you son of a bitch. There it goes. Now it's sitting right. But what I remember is with the broken switch plugged in eggplant, that when it's off, the wipers don't. I don't know. I gotta double check. The switch is good. The one switch is good. It still doesn't work. That's where we're at. And we're back in eggplant. As you can see, there's no switch hooked up. Wipers are running, so we know something's supplying power that shouldn't be. Now we're gonna plug this spare in, and I don't know how well this is gonna tell us anything. We just know that we know this doesn't work, but I want to confirm what we know that this switch does. Okay, so that switch actually turns it off right now. So off is off. That's on full blast. That's also off. These are all off. Turn that. Yeah, see, this hazard's all sticky. I remember this. That hazard button doesn't stay off. Another reason why I replaced it. So this switch is messed up. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, it won't let the wipers park properly. There it goes. So, with this broken switch, off is off. Whatever is... This switch is wrong. So this makes me think that there's something funny with the wiring that's been done. And now I'm going to have to find it. I'm actually going to have to look up this circuit and trace it. Or something. Something funny's been done here because this switch is broken, but it turns it off when it's on. Or when it's supposed to on this, but not on any other van. I guess it... Yeah, that's so weird. So we know the switch is junk. So that's really weird. So this one actually turns it off, but the switch is broken and keeps everything on. So we'll set that down there. Now we'll put this working switch in. And this working switch is going to stay running when it's off, even though it's a perfectly functional switch. And then that's off in this case. Yeah, I'm going to call it for the night. Get rid of that witchery. We know this switch is good, so I don't have to worry about this switch anymore. So we'll put this back in. There. That's in. We'll screw that in, do whatever. I'll poke my head under here if I see anything right away. If not, I'm done for the night. I will worry about it tomorrow or some other day. But we got something going on that ain't right. So yeah, you want to talk about issues that are hard to diagnose. We had, for sure, a bad wiper motor. That wiper motor was seized up solid. And it still didn't work when I had that motor out when I was messing with it. I plugged the old one back in just to see, and that didn't work at all. That motor was junk. We know that. We know that the original switch that was in this van was junk because it stays running no matter, if it's off. And we tested that in a known good configuration in a known good vehicle. So we had a bad motor, we had a bad switch, and we still have something wrong because that's a good switch with a good motor and it's still running. Riddle me that one. All right, so we're in the car wash, getting a car wash, but remember how the wipers would work when they're off and then not work when they were like here? Well, I drove it 1 mile down the road and it started working no matter where it was on here, so I had to pull the fuse. But this fuse, it's getting pretty iffy, so I'll probably pick up a new one just to have for when I do need them. Because my luck, I'll plug that in and it'll blow that fuse. But yeah, now it just goes no matter what. So depending on if I can locate the issue or if it's the BCM, which I hope it's not, I probably won't replace that because everything else works. It's just the wipers. If it's stuck on everywhere, what I'll probably do is just plumb in a switch so I can just toggle it on and off at the motor. You know what I mean? Something like that anyway. But we'll see. This is what I'm talking about with that leaf spring. It's supposed to kind of hold the weight of the vehicle when you jack it up. So I'm jacking up on the axle here. As you can see, it's completely flexed the wrong way. Completely backwards right now. So we get a jack stand under here. We gotta get tires off because we gotta take them in to get balance. And I think while I got these rear tires off, I'm gonna pop the drums off. And I might try to do the rear shocks while I'm in there. I'm looking at the leafs too, but to do the leafs, I gotta put the jack somewhere else on the frame here. But we'll see. I should just do the leafs while I got it apart too. You know what I mean? And it wouldn't be too much more to get the body up in the air. So, but anyway, I got tire appointment at 4 o'clock here, so I gotta get these ready to roll. Well, she's up on blocks, I guess, technically. Got the 4 tires in the back of the 05. I just smashed my head. Luckily I hit the plastic, so that didn't hurt really bad. Yeah, got the 4 tires in here, got them all marked up, which is which, got them cleaned off in the back, so no extra dirt and dust and stuff. Yeah, get them balanced. Should ride real nice after that. Didn't ride too bad without them balanced. I checked the fronts and everything. Tie rods are still nice and tight. Brakes wore in real nice. These are the old drums, or not drums, but old calipers, old pads and everything. No, I mean, it sat 5 years and they were pretty new when they parked, so came out pretty a-okay. I didn't touch them up or anything, I just used them. Same story over here. This one looks real nice. Calipers move nice and free. Everything's free. I don't think this wheel bearing's gonna fall off like the other one did, so that's cool. Transmission looks nice with the new cover and everything. That's freshly painted. Tire rod looks good here. Mint. Not supposed to do that at all. That one's good for some reason. That one is good for whatever reason. But we're replacing them both. Wheels are back. Like I figured, because it didn't really shake when I was driving. The guy said they were really close. Like this one, I think's only got one weight on the back. That one's got a weight on the front. Yeah, they were pretty close. So, but he said he got them dead on. Anyway, it's 44 bucks at Discount Tire. You know, same day appointments. If you make an appointment at Discount Tire, they're really good about getting you in. So a lot of people, they just do walk-ins all day, but they'll do appointments ahead of walk-ins. So if you make yourself an appointment, usually it can't go wrong. Whenever if they mess up, they always make it right. So I had one time they missed I had an appointment, dropped them off, went out shopping, came back and completely forgotten about them. Got them done for free. And then I was listening, I was sitting there, getting ready to grab my tires. The other guy was checking me out. He was talking to the lady next to me who was being helped by the other associate. He was like, yeah, so we did the 4 tires for your car, right? But there's some notes here I want to talk to you about. It's like, because there was they had a spare tire on the car when they brought it in, and they must have blown a tire, so they just got all 4. It's like, yeah, they accidentally took the spare that was on and mounted a new tire to it, so we mounted a tire to that for free because we weren't going to charge you for it because they only bought 4. So they basically got 5 tires, you know, for the price of 4, which worked out. So they're pretty good and they're cheap. It was 44 bucks, which is pretty on par, $11 a tire nowadays. Anyway, it's getting cold and windy, so I'm going to call it for the day. But tomorrow we'll get the fronts on there, and then we will get these leaf springs out, and I sprayed the bolts down and everything. I got no worries about that all coming off, so we'll get that taken care of tomorrow, and it should be ready to roll for Monday, and it's going to ride like a whole new vehicle. I mean, you guys saw that shock. That's bad. This one was okay, so that's what caused it to kind of do this. And then coupled with this bad leaf here, it's, you know, it kind of just does all kinds whatever it wants. Now the fronts, they don't look like they leaked out really. I mean, maybe. That one's probably bad. Actually, I'm looking at it now. It looks like it leaked out. So really, it needs new struts, front struts, but we'll worry about that next after we get the rears together. How's this one look? It's probably about junk too. But it's not like the front bounces too bad. So, but we'll get them done. And then we'll probably bring it in, just have it aligned, just to see where we're at. But otherwise, you know, I had those struts off. There's not really much room for adjustment right here. So they really ride just fine, even though I had that out to do the wheel bearings. I had them out to get the axles out, you know what I mean? And I never took the tie rods off, so we know that our alignment's still straight, or at least what it was before. But it never hurts to have it, you know, make sure it's good. At least check the alignment. Anyway, I'm calling it for the day. Well, we got some progress made. We unbolted the shackle plate, or not shackle plate, but leaf spring mount plate. And then we've got the leaf spring out of the rear shackle. Here's the eyelet bushings here. As you can see, they're all oblonged. I knew that these were messed up. I noticed that when we were loading it onto the trailer originally. But yeah, those are no good, as you can see. And then I started with the rear shackle bolt before I had an epiphany and realized, well, I got to release the tension off the spring. And I got this bolt out, and then when I was pounding on that, I mushroomed the nut. That's no big deal, but then I had the nut off when I was trying to punch it through here, and it slipped and nicked the threads. I should be able to save the threads on the shaft here, but I need a new nut. Bad. I shouldn't have to do that on that side, because now we know better. But right now, the vehicle is resting on the big jacks here, and the leaf springs and the axle have nothing. They're not really holding it at all. I got to raise my jack just a little bit, get under that. That way, the brakes aren't completely tensioned. It's this torsion bar that's really holding the axle on, and the leaf on the other side. But we want to put a little bit of that jack under that so we don't drop it on the brake hoses. Don't want to put too much tension on those. But we just got the bolt up here, and we'll have that leaf out. Making good progress, getting there. And this, I noticed this before I got it running, that this dripped out of here one day. Coolant. I don't think it's the core that's leaking. I think it's this fitting right here. I don't think it's the core anyway. I think that's the fitting leaking, so I'll have to cut. It's a pressure fitting, so I'd have to cut that fitting off and double hose clamp it or something, or high pressure hose clamp it back on there. But yeah, it's for the heater lines right here. It's definitely dripping though. You can see it there. It's not wet on the ground, but it's wet on that leaf. Okay, I remember this when I did this on my 98. It's all coming back to me. You have to take this whole shackle off because you can't pull the bolt out because, it's ain't happening. So we got to get those 15 mils out, which there's no rust whatsoever. Those are going to come right out, no problem. And then we will do this on the bench. By that I mean the floor. By that I mean the gravel driveway. So cool, but yeah, here's a closer look up at that. It's definitely leaking out of that clamp there. So, which is good. It's not the heater core, as you can see, it's dry up there. It's definitely leaking out of that fitting. So we'll have to cut that guy and clamp it with a hose clamp of some variety. There we are, first one's out. And this was the better of the two. Now, look at this bushing right here. Careful I don't. That bushing's alright. Kinda. Doesn't have play in it. And the nut's free in there, or the bolt, so that's good, so we'll be able to get that out. That one's still got a little bit of spring to it, as you can see. It's the other one that was not very good. Yeah, we'll get that out. I think this is a 21 mil, and then 21 mil wrench or 13/16 or whatever. They'll both fit it. The mount plate bushings, those are all good, so those are sitting over there in the right orientation. I don't think it really matters, but we'll keep them in the right or the same orientations before we got to scrape off that mount plate, which looks really nice. We'll just get that little bit of surface jacking rust out of there, get that gone. Stuff right here. Yeah, that should be nothing. Just get rid of, use this as a chisel and get a hammer on that. Scrape. Yeah, see, most of it's coming off right now, as you can see. But yeah, I'll go in there with a hammer and just chisel the rest of that out of there. And now we got to repeat the same thing on the other side. So I think we're going to need some new hardware. That guy is, I think it's pretty rough. And obviously it was seized to that shaft in there, and I had to do a lot of creative work going on here to get that guy out, because we need that shackle. But, yeah, that's something else. Might as well, I think what I'm going to do, obviously I need this bolt stud, and I guess we might as well get the nut for both sides. And then we need to save that shaft there because he's kind of special. So You need to clean the threads up on that, get a new nut for that side, probably for both sides. And I might as well clean these up, degrease them, and then I'll spray paint them before they go back up. And I might as well do that to the shackle mounts too. But I'm gonna have to start hunting down some hardware here. This stud on the run. I reused that old mushroom nut over here to punch instead of wasting the nut that I took off right here. Mostly so I can use this nut to find 2 replacements. But we got it on the run. I just gotta get a vice grip on this side so I can get the nut off and then I can slide that out. Then it's just the 4 up there and this leaf's out too. Well, here's the hardware we came up with. I paid a visit to the hardware store. We did reuse these because they, are kind of special. Notice my new vice grip marks from holding it. I retapped these because I messed up the threads. They are, I don't know what, I did a 3/8 by 16 tap, which is what the old bolt fit onto, but it took a little bit of material off, which is, as you do. But there, now we've got, that nut spins on there nice. Did that to both of these. And then we ended up with, here's the old hardware right here. It's got this, and then it's got a little bit of a groove here, but it's corroded as hell. Anyway, we'd done away with that because we had to cut this one out because it was seized inside. This one was seized too, but I managed to beat it out. But the threads are all messed up anyway. We ended up with these, which these are just a little bit longer, as you can see here. But a little longer is not going to hurt nobody. And I got a washer for the the nut here, so it'll sit like that in there. But it all lines up. This lines up good. You can see there's threads here, but this sat inside that bushing all the way out to here, so that actually works out better. It's going to fit better in that bushing. But I took one of these with, just to make sure I had them right, and I think these are 9/16 by whatever coarse thread this is. Whatever, I got nuts that matched it. But they fit in here, and this is the same diameter hole that is on the bushing right there, so we knew that would work. Anyway, what were these like? These are like $4 a bolt, and then the nuts are like 30-40 cents or something, you know what I mean. Biggest expense here was this. I don't even think the tap cost that much, but now I have this tap, and it worked great. I just had a crescent wrench on the tap, and then I had the vice grips on here since I don't have a head on the other side. Make sure not to get these fins here all messed up, whatever you want to call those, so it holds it from spinning on you when you bolt it in. But we ain't gonna have any issues. That goes on nice, so that won't be a problem at all. Probably put a little bit of Loctite on these just to be safe. Probably on these too. Won't hurt anyway. So we can throw that away, throw all this away, put this on, and we should be ready to roll. But let's walk over here past the old leaf springs of doom all the way out to here. And I've got all of the hardware here sprayed black, so it'll match pretty well. And then I crudely went up under the vehicle and I sprayed up on that guy too a little bit, and a little extra everywhere, so better than nothing. So looks good to me. Anyway, get you on the stand here and we'll start finagling these new springs and getting them bolted up. All right, well, got the shackle bolted up there. Got the bolt through here just loosely. And then up on that side, after a little bit of fighting, see my vice grip here that I was using to pry the shackle. I got that bolt through and just in there loosely. I'm going to leave them loose until I get it bolted to the axle. That way, and then we'll get both sides done, I think, in and loose. And what we'll do is we'll put the tire on it and drop it on the ground and get it at ride height. Then I'll go in and I will tighten the bushing where the bolts go through the bushings. I'll tighten it down once it's at ride height. That's the proper way to do it, I guess. Increases longevity of your bushings because then it's not tension on it when it's at ride height. Makes sense anyway. Anyway, I gotta kind of swivel this poor axle back up. That kind of, he's doing a number on that torsion bar there. He's doing the swivels there, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. I gotta look at the bushings on that. He might need replaced too anyway, or I might replace him. They're like $10 on Rock Auto, or 15 or something, I think. So I'm not worried about it, but it's doing all the legwork here. All right, got that one started up there and everything too. Shackle bolted in tight there. Leaf spring bolts loose, but in. That one fought me a little bit, but I got it. Just had to wobble it around just right. Even kind of got it started in the axle here. So this side will be easier. Don't have to have Dad over here binding the axle up while I'm on that side doing the same thing to get it lined up. All right, got this shock mount or leaf mount bolted in. Got that side all tight. Like I said, we got these loose fitted. The shackles up there bolted in tight. Obviously, whoops, flipped you. We never took those shackles out. So next on the list is we're gonna put the new shocks in. And once we get the new shocks in, we'll jack up the axle, get the big boy stands out, and then we'll put the tires on. And then we're ready to tighten these up, and then we're ready to roll. Hopefully. All right, got this shock bolted up, so you can see. Do the other side, same deal, and then I'll bring you back when we're done. Ignore my brand new brake drum. I had a little extra paint left over, but not enough to finish rebuilding it, or I guess resurfacing it. But I got this shock bolted in here, and I had to jack up here so I could get the bottom bolt aligned. And if you notice here, see how the leaf spring is still a U? It actually picked up the whole car. That's how I can tell you that these springs are good versus that one. If you guys remember, that one, when we would jack up anywhere on this side, it would fold. That leaf spring could no longer hold a load. This one, as you can see, can. That is what we were in there fixing. on top of the shock was actually good on this side. It was that side that was bad. But we got all the new bushings because those bushings were pretty well shot. This one wasn't too bad, but the bolt was seized in there, you know, so we had to rip that all apart. But yeah, it's got new bushings, new leaf spring, new shock, new drum on the driver's side, you know, partially resurfaced. Yeah, now it's all bolted in, so we're gonna get some tires on here, get it on the ground, and then we'll tighten up these leaf spring bolts. Okay, after a lot of fighting, we got the front through bolt for the leaf spring on both sides tightened up. Got the rear bolts tightened up and double nutted for here. That went fine. That was fine. Just, I think it was 22 millimeter, whatever size nut I bought. That tightened up just fine. This side we had some trouble, and it's mostly my fault. Well, 100% my fault, because we didn't pull this shackle. And this is like a press-in right here, if I can get it to focus. See that? It's a press-in. I figured this would snug up when I did it. It didn't. So we ended up taking the bumper off so we could get out here with like a beater bar, and we smacked it in, and then we tightened it here, and we I just didn't feel right when I tightened that. So what I did is we put a second nut on here just to double nut, just to be safe. But it's in here, it's tight, ain't going nowhere. Did the same thing on that side, but here, this is gonna actually prove to be good, because see this? This was all full of dirt. And that's how this stuff rots out right here. You can see it's got rust here. You know, it's never going to be perfect again, but what we're going to end up doing here, there's a piece of foam, or, oh, that's that stupid plastic tape they put up in the slots to keep dust and critters out, but it's fallen down because it has failed. But I pulled the covers off here. We're going to rinse this out after we take it for a test drive here. Maybe the test drive will blow some of this loose dust out, but we're going to pack this full of fluid film and get these seams nice and filled, because that'll keep it from getting worse, and we'll get up above here. That way we'll get up in this seam up here, because it likes to rot right here too. But we'll pack this full of fluid film in between here, so it'll be a perfect opportunity to do it. But we'll be able to drive it without the bumper. Yeah, this is the worst side, but the dirt was up to here. It's just full of dirt. That ain't good for anything. This side I broke 2 of the screws off in, so I gotta fight to get those out. But I'll get them out. It's just in plastic. And then we'll bolt bump back up. But it's tightened down, ready to roll. It sits way nicer. The tire sits way nicer. The vehicle sits level. I guess I can shut this for now. It's ready to go for a drive. All the wheels are tight on there. Just gotta move the 05 out of the way, get all my tools out of the way, and then take it for a ride. But otherwise, now we're done with the rear suspension. Now it's just the front coilovers when I get to it, but they'll be fine for now. They're not that bad. So that's gonna do it for today. So thank you guys for watching and struggling with me. Most of the struggle was done off camera for your sake and mine. But we got it. You know, so that's I'm happy with that. It's sitting real nice. Look at all that. That's bad. That's just the bumper. So I've had these rot out, so we'll get this sprayed and cleaned out too. But I don't want to use water, because then I'm gonna have trouble getting the oil in there sticking properly. Whereas we can just blow it all out. Yeah, that's crunchy. Let the air compressor charge back up. Jeez. Anyway, you get the gist. I'll be blowing all this out best we can. And we're gonna get cans of fluid film, we'll fill her up. Might as well fluid fill in the bottom of it while I'm working on it, you know what I mean? Alright, let's fill this bad boy up. Take advantage of this opportunity. Conveniently, I just bought a couple cans of this a couple days ago because I was planning on doing some sort of rust proofing on the rockers and stuff. So now I'll feel real confident, got the whole back area all done too. But we want to fill the seams, spray this inner and outer because we got rust showing here. Just want to keep oxygen from getting to it. Should slow it down. All up on the inside of the wheel wells. All this where the rust coatings come off, you can see surface rust. Hit both sides of this. Anyway, I'm gonna do this for a while. Just make sure we get in there good. And then this stuff will flow a little bit and it'll seep into those seams. Anyway, you get the gist here, so that's what I'm gonna get done.